What's up, everybody? It's your boy H Money, aka H1. Welcome back to the corner store. And clearly, it's nighttime. I felt it would be fitting to do the moon video at night when the moon's out. You know, that shit is shining on my face, as you can see. But let's not play around. Let's get back right into where we left off. As you know, in the first video, I was breaking down the importance of a natal chart and the significance of the sun and other things that you might run into when you're reviewing your natal chart. So now I wanted to get into the mother moon, the moon mama. We talked about the sun, the papa. Now it's time to talk about mom. All right, when you're dealing with straight moon vibes, you're dealing with the heart, the soul, the function of the machine, the engine, basically. And when you're dealing with your moon sign, it's basically the navigational system to the sun, right? So if your sun sign is, for example, an Aries, but you have a Virgo moon, so what's going to happen is it's going to be a clash sometimes between how you feel and how you want to actually respond, you know? So it's a lot of people who have opposing sun and moons are kind of indecisive in how they want to go about everyday life. You know what I mean? You might feel like at times you just want to be fearless and go out there and say what the hell I want to say, do what the hell I want to do. But then there's something like a little voice in your head that holds you back. And that's pretty much your moon. So think of your moon as those commercials that you see with the devil on one shoulder and God on the other, quote unquote. That's just basically your consciousness. That's how it works, you know. Your moon is that whisper, that hint, that gut feeling that you always really feel. And it's the thing that's kind of like your parent. It's also really shows you the relationship between your mother, you and your mother, or you and someone who's nurturing in your life, you know what I mean? Whether that was your grandmother or whatever. It could even be your father, you know. But the moon relationship is just showing you how to follow your gut feeling, you know. So you got to pay close attention to that when it's in your natal chart. What is your moon? What's that defining thing that's directing the sun, you know? Another thing about your moon sign is it's also that psychic intuition. So depending on how or what your moon sign is or what position it's in your chart, you start to realize like, okay, those are my psychic gifts. So say for example, you got Cancer, which is the ultimate placement for the moon because it's represented by the moon, you know? So if you're a Cancer moon, for example, you might wake up, walk into a room, and feel everyone's pain. Naturally, you could just feel everyone's pain. And the reason for that is Cancer in the moon placement gives you some sort of X-ray vision into feelings, you know? And it's a little different than, say, like a Scorpio moon. Because if you have a Scorpio moon, you might be able to predict someone's next move. You see the difference? So if you have Scorpio in you, you will be able to feel the next move. Like, oh, okay, my boss is gonna act like this today. Because I just feel like they want to make the day hard, you know? And that's the type of thing like a Scorpio will feel. Whereas, like I said, a Cancer moon will walk in the room and it'll be like, why is everyone kind of moving crazy today? I feel like today's going to be a rough day. Everyone's energy is kind of low. That's the Cancer energy. So, once again, if the sun is the driving force, your moon is the engine. And you gotta pay close attention to the relationship as you're walking through your natal chart. So you start to recognize, okay, if the sun is the head and the moon is the heart, both have to be aligned. Or how do I balance out both natures in myself? So I'll give you an example. I did someone's chart one time, right? And they were an Aquarius sun, right? So that means they were very aloof. They were very intelligent, uniquely different, right? We don't want to say awkward, uniquely different. Like they just ticked at a different time than everyone else. And it was hard. It was actually a dude. It was hard for him to fit in, right? And then he was always like overthinking and nervous and things of that nature because he had a Virgo moon. So what I basically told him was that thing that for most people could be considered anxiety, if you master it and make it work for you, then you actually have a jump on a lot of other situations. And he didn't understand what I was trying to say, but he emailed me when I first did the Virgo video, was it like maybe 2 weeks ago or something like that, when I first started. And he's like, damn, I never would have thought that listening to Virgo would resonate with me so much. And I was like, yeah, that's how it is. Once you start looking at everything as a whole, you can start to look at all the pieces. Like you're putting together your puzzle of who you are. And it comes from recognizing the energies that's in you. So the moral of what I'm trying to say is you have to look at all the pieces that you're playing with. You understand? So at the same time that Virgo moon, which became overcritical, mixed in with the analysis that Aquarius usually comes down with, that blend was driving him crazy because he didn't know how to control his energies. He didn't know what he was dealing with. So in other words, he now can master what the Virgo energy is. He'll study it more closely. He'll start to be aware of those Virgo energies deep inside him because his moon is a Virgo, So whenever you look at yourself and you don't resonate with the general basis of what your sun sign is, it's not that it doesn't resonate. It's just your moon is probably a little bit stronger in the who's driving at the moment. Maybe your moon energy is something that wants to be recognized, in appreciation with the sun. So what I'm trying to say is the importance of the moon is understanding that has to do with your emotional side of yourself. And you need to recognize that has just as much power as the driving force, which you're used to, which is the sun. Because sometimes spirit will pull you back and forth into recognizing an energy or recognizing something in yourself to bring it out, or something that needs manifesting, or something that needs training. It's almost like when you're hungry, your stomach starts to growl, or you'll get a headache because of gas. Like the body sends signal, your spirit does the same thing. And when you're dealing with astrology, those energies within yourself need to be mastered. It needs to be recognized. It needs to be ordered in the way that you don't want your soul to be messy. So the quicker you recognize it, the more you study deep into yourself, the greater you'll start to function as to what this mechanism is. So you got to kind of think of your life as something that is unrecognized. You're still working to get to the finished product, and that could take lifetimes, but the goal is to work on yours in this lifetime as much as you can, so that it makes it easier for you to navigate through this life, because that's what this thing is all about. It's about recognizing our purpose, and that's why they call it life. It's a present, it's a gift. Every day you wake up, you're here to recognize that. So the importance of the moon, once again, in significance to the sun, is it's the engine. It's the motherboard. It's the digital computer that's operating. So you must always recognize that figuring out how you feel inside is just as important as recognizing what you're dealing with or who you are or what energies you're rocking with, because one and one go together to make two. So everything is a part of each other. So now you know that there's something just as important as the sun. And as I go through it, I'll just try to make sure you see the significance in each particular part of yourself, so that when we put it together now towards the end of this whole thing, it won't be so foreign. It'll be more familiar. So then it's easier for us to go back and forth, and you'll start to recognize it within yourself. Because the purpose of this is for you to be able to operate and understand yourself without me, for example, or without anybody. You can go up there and research it yourself. Go up there and look into yourself. Because one thing I was always taught from anything that I read, or any book, or any documentary, or any learning tool that I've like gotten some of this information from, it's always been like spirit showing you, like, don't trust anything or what anyone says. Always go out there and research it for yourself and get an understanding for yourself. You know, so it's just like when you had homework and the teacher gave you an assignment or something for you to see if you really got an understanding of what was taught. It's the same thing. You learn something and you recognize it, so it can become easy for you to grasp, so that you don't need anyone to take you to where you need to be. Don't get me wrong, learning something new every day and learning from someone is the purpose as well. You're here to learn. However, you want to get understanding from what you learned. So I hope you enjoyed the importance of the moon. As you see, it's shining on me, bright as hell. Thank you very much for your attention. Appreciate you, and I will see you guys for the next video.